Okay, so we're diving into Unlock Your Inner Genius today. This guide to using the Yi Jing or Book of Changes.
Yeah.
You seem pretty interested in this ancient Chinese text for like decision making and self-improvement and figuring out life's complexities.
It's amazing how relevant this ancient wisdom still is today.
Get this, we're even going to explore how figures like Julius Caesar and Steve Jobs and even like modern psychology tie into all of this.
The Yi Jing reveals these universal patterns that have played out across history and culture.
Okay, so it's not just like a mystical fortune-telling thing.
No, not at all.
This is like a system for understanding the forces in any situation and making choices.
It's like a code to decipher the underlying dynamics of life.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's crack this code.
Sounds good.
So the book starts with the basics, 64 hexagrams made up of 6 lines each representing yin or yang.
Right.
So I'm guessing those lines are more than just random scribbles.
Definitely those lines and their combinations represent complex concepts. Growth, flexibility, assertiveness, change. It's amazing how such a simple system can capture the nuances of human experience.
Each hexagram is like a snapshot of a specific situation. And those yin and yang lines reveal the energies at play.
Exactly.
It's all about understanding the balance between yin and yang.
You know, Steve Jobs was a master at this.
Yeah, he was a genius.
The book argues that his genius was in blending functionality, yang, with elegant design, yin, and Apple products.
Like the smooth curves of an iPhone or the intuitive interface of a Mac.
Yeah, yin and yang in perfect harmony.
Okay, I see it, but what about someone like Winston Churchill? He's not exactly known for sleek design.
True, but think about his leadership during World War II.
Okay.
He balanced decisive military action, yang, with shrewd diplomacy, navigating the complex political landscape to secure Allied victory.
Okay, so this concept applies to any situation, from designing a product to leading a nation.
That's the beauty of it. It applies to everything.
So we're not just talking about abstract concepts here. This yin-yang balance has real-world implications for how we make decisions and take action.
For sure.
And the book goes beyond yin and yang, too.
Right.
It introduces the 5 elements.
Wood, fire, earth, metal, and water.
Okay, so these elements represent different energies and aspects of decision-making.
Think of them like different personality types or approaches to life.
Okay, I like that.
For example, wood symbolizes growth, creativity, and risk-taking.
Like an entrepreneur.
Exact, someone who sees opportunities and goes for them.
So if you're always coming up with new ideas and pushing boundaries, you might be strong in the wood element.
You got it.
Cool.
Now, fire represents passion, drive, and leadership. It's about inspiring others and leaving a lasting impact.
Okay.
The book uses the example of Martin Luther King Jr. His fiery speeches and unwavering commitment to justice embody the fire element.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the go-getter wood energy and the passionate fire leadership.
Yeah.
What about the other elements?
Well, earth symbolizes stability, nurturing, and practicality.
Oh.
It's about building a strong foundation and creating a sense of harmony. Those who are strong in the earth element are often the grounding force in their families or communities.
So if you're starting a business, you might need a strong dose of wood and fire energy to get things going.
Yeah.
But to maintain and grow that business, you'd also need the grounding energy of earth to keep things stable and organized.
Exactly. Each element has its strengths and weaknesses. Understanding these elements can help you assess your own tendencies and make decisions that play to your strengths while addressing your weaknesses.
Okay, this is getting really interesting.
Yeah.
We've got yin and yang, the 5 elements.
Yeah.
Where do these hexagrams actually come into play in decision making?
The book shares a story about an entrepreneur who used hexagram 42 to make a decision about a partnership deal. He was tempted by the immediate profits, but the hexagram emphasized the importance of making adjustments for long-term stability and balance.
So instead of just jumping at the opportunity, he took a step back and considered the bigger picture.
Right. Instead of blindly accepting the deal, he used the insight from the hexagram to renegotiate terms that better aligned with his company's long-term goals. He ended up with a deal that was more sustainable and beneficial for everyone involved.
Wow. So the Yi Jing isn't about predicting the future. It's about giving you a framework for understanding the situation and making a more informed decision.
It's like having a wise advisor who helps you see the potential consequences of your choices and guides you toward a path that aligns with your goals and values.
This is blowing my mind. We've only just scratched the surface, and I'm already seeing how these ancient principles can be applied to our modern lives. But tell me, is there more to this than just logic and strategy?
Yeah.
The book also mentions something called synchronicity.
Yes,
Okay.
and this is where things get even more fascinating.
Okay.
Synchronicity is the idea that seemingly unrelated events are meaningfully connected. It's like those aha moments when you're thinking about something and then suddenly it pops up everywhere, or you run into someone you were just thinking about.
Okay. I've definitely experienced those moments. They always feel like more than just coincidence.
Exactly. Those are glimpses of a deeper pattern, a connection between our inner world and the outer world.
Okay.
The book suggests that the Yi Jing can help us recognize these patterns of synchronicity and understand the role of our unconscious mind in decision making.
So it's not just about logically analyzing a situation, but also about tuning into our intuition and paying attention to those subtle signs and synchronicities.
Exactly. The Yi Jing invites us to tap into a deeper level of awareness, to recognize the interconnectedness of all things, and to trust that the universe is conspiring to guide us towards our highest good.
Wow. I can see how this could be a powerful tool for personal growth and self-discovery. And it seems like we're just getting started.
We are. There's so much more to explore. Yi Jing's connection to emotional intelligence, its applications in business and personal life, and even its relevance to modern psychology. It's an ancient text, but its wisdom is timeless and incredibly relevant to the challenges we face today.
This is incredible. I can't wait to dive deeper into all of this. I have a feeling this is going to be one mind-blowing deep dive.
I think so too. Welcome back. It's amazing how the Yi Jing connects these ancient ideas to modern challenges, isn't it?
It really is. We left off talking about synchronicity and how the Yi Jing can help us tune into those meaningful coincidences. But the book also mentioned something about emotional intelligence, or EQ, which really piqued my curiosity.
Ah, yes. The book argues that the Yi Jing, with its insights into human emotions and relationships, can actually help us develop greater empathy and understanding.
So instead of just reacting emotionally to a situation, we can use the Yi Jing to understand the dynamics of play and respond more thoughtfully.
Exactly. Imagine you're facing a conflict with a coworker. The Yi Jing could help you understand their underlying motivations, fears, or insecurities. The book gives an example of an entrepreneur who used the Yi Jing to understand a coworker's insecurity, which was causing tension in their working relationship.
Interesting. So how did he use the Yi Jing to navigate that situation?
He consulted the Yi Jing, and by reflecting on the hexagram he received, gained a deeper understanding of his coworker's emotional needs. Armed with that insight, he was able to find a compromise that addressed those needs and improved their working relationship. It wasn't about giving in, but about seeing the situation from a different perspective.
That's brilliant. It's like the Yi Jing provides a roadmap for navigating those tricky interpersonal dynamics we all face.
Precisely. It's about understanding the emotional motivations of others, which is a key aspect of emotional intelligence. And the book highlights how this understanding can lead to better outcomes, not just in business, but in our personal lives as well.
This is making me think about all the conflicts I've faced and how I could have handled them differently with this kind of insight.
It's never too late to start applying this wisdom. The book shares examples of how people have used the Yi Jing to improve their relationships, overcome personal challenges, and even find new career paths.
Okay, so we've talked about decision-making, synchronicity, and emotional intelligence. What are some other areas where the Yi Jing has been applied?
Well, the book delves into how the Yi Jing has been used in various fields, from business to personal growth, even art and spirituality.
Can you give me some specific examples? I'm curious to see how this ancient wisdom translates to these diverse areas.
For instance, in the business world, CEOs have used the Yi Jing to navigate mergers and acquisitions. Startup founders have used it to craft unique value propositions. And marketers have used it to understand consumer behavior.
So it's not just some abstract philosophy, it actually has practical applications in the real world.
Absolutely. And in personal growth, people have used the Yi Jing to overcome anxiety, make career changes, improve their relationships, and even deepen their spiritual practices.
It's incredible to think about how this one text can be applied to so many different aspects of life.
That's the beauty of it. It speaks to these universal patterns and principles that underlie all of human experience. The Yi Jing provides a framework for understanding these patterns and navigating them with wisdom and insight.
The book really emphasizes that the Yi Jing is not just a fortune-telling tool, but a guide for self-discovery and decision-making. It encourages readers to explore the Yi Jing further and apply its principles to their own lives.
And it highlights the potential for personal growth, emotional intelligence, and achieving one's full potential through the study and application of the Yi Jing.
It seems like the author really believes in the transformative power of this ancient text. What stands out to you from all of this? Did any of these stories or examples resonate with your own experience?
What strikes me is how the Yi Jing encourages us to approach challenges with a sense of curiosity and openness rather than fear or resistance. It's about recognizing that change is inevitable and learning to navigate it with grace and wisdom.
It's like that saying, the only constant is change. The Yi Jing seems to provide a roadmap for not just surviving change, but thriving in the midst of it.
That's a great way to put it. It's about becoming the master of your own destiny rather than a victim of circumstance.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm ready to dive into the Yi Jing and see what wisdom it holds for me. But before we wrap up, is there anything else from the book that we should touch on? It felt like there was a lot more to explore.
You're right, there is. One concept we haven't discussed yet is qi. It's a vital energy force in Chinese philosophy, and understanding its role in decision-making adds another layer of depth to our exploration of the Yi Jing.
Okay, qi. I've heard the term before, but to be honest, I'm a little fuzzy on the detail. Fill me in.
Qi is often translated as life force or vital energy, and it flows through everything in the universe, including us. The book explains how understanding qi can enhance our decision-making in profound ways.
So it's like the energy that keeps us alive and functioning?
That's a simplified way to think about it, but qi is more than just biological energy. It also encompasses mental, emotional, and spiritual energy. The book suggests that when our qi is balanced and flowing freely, we're more likely to make decisions that are aligned with our true selves and our higher purpose.
That makes sense. When we're feeling drained or out of balance, it's harder to think clearly and make good choices.
Exact. And the book even connects qi to synchronicity, suggesting that when our qi is aligned, we're more likely to experience those meaningful coincidences that guide us toward our destiny.
Wow, okay. So how do we cultivate and balance our qi? Does the book give any practical advice?
It does. The book suggests practices like Qigong and Tai Chi, ancient Chinese martial arts that focus on cultivating and balancing qi through specific movements and breathing techniques.
I've heard of Tai Chi. It's that slow, graceful form of exercise, right?
That's the one. The book explains how these practices can help us become more aware of our own energy and learn to direct it in a positive way. It's not just about physical exercise, but about mental and emotional balance.
So by incorporating these practices into our lives, we can potentially enhance our intuition, make better decisions, and even increase our chances of experiencing those serendipitous moments of synchronicity. That sounds pretty powerful.
It is, and here's where it connects back to the Yi Jing. The book actually suggests that the hexagrams can be seen as representations of different patterns of qi flow.
Wait, so when you consult the Yi Jing, you're not just getting advice, you're also tapping into the energy of that particular situation.
It's one way to interpret it. The book encourages us to see the Yi Jing not just as a text, but as a living dynamic system that reflects the flow of qi in the universe.
This is blowing my mind. We're talking about an ancient text that is somehow tapping into the very energy of the universe.
It's amazing, right? And it really emphasizes the interconnectedness of everything. Our decisions, emotions, and even our energy are all part of this larger web. The Yi Jing helps us tune into that web and navigate it with greater awareness and intention.
I'm officially hooked. We've covered so much ground already, and I feel like we're just scratching the surface of what the Yi Jing has to offer. But before we get too carried away, we need to take a break.
You're right. We'll pick up where we left off in the next part of our deep dive. Until then, keep those qi flowing.
Okay, my mind is still buzzing from that last segment. Qi hexagrams as energy patterns. It's amazing how the Yi Jing takes these seemingly mystical ideas and grounds them in a practical system for understanding life.
Right. It's a fascinating blend of ancient wisdom and modern relevance, and there's still so much more to unpack.
Well, let's unpack it. We were talking about qi and how it influences our decisions.
Yeah.
But the book also mentioned the Yi Jing's connection to our unconscious mind. I'm curious to explore that further.
That's a key aspect of the Yi Jing's wisdom. It reminds us that our conscious mind, the part we're aware of, is just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface lies a vast reservoir of thoughts, feelings, and memories that influence our decisions and actions in ways we don't always realize.
So it's like we're operating on autopilot, sometimes driven by forces we don't fully understand.
Exact. And the book suggests that the symbols and imagery of the hexagrams can act as a bridge to the unconscious. By meditating on the hexagrams and allowing our intuition to guide us, we can gain access to insights and wisdom that are normally hidden from our conscious awareness.
So it's not just about logically analyzing a situation, but also about tapping into that deeper intuitive wisdom that resides within us.
You got it. And the book encourages us to pay attention to our dreams, as well as those gut feelings or intuitive hunches, as they may contain messages from our unconscious.
This is making me think about all the times I've ignored my intuition or dismissed those gut feelings as irrational. Maybe there was more to them than I realized.
It's definitely worth exploring those subtle whispers from within the book. It emphasizes that true wisdom comes from integrating both our conscious and unconscious mind. It's about finding that balance between logic and intuition and reason and feeling.
That makes a lot of sense. We've been talking about the individual level, how the Yi Jing can help us make better decisions, understand our emotions, tap into our intuition. But the book also delves into the Yi Jing's influence on a broader scale, history, culture, even modern psychology.
That's what I find so fascinating. Yi Jing isn't just a personal development tool. It's a lens through which we can view the world and understand the forces that have shaped our history and continue to shape our present.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me some examples of how the Yi Jing has shown up in history and culture.
Well, the book talks about how the Yi Jing was instrumental in shaping Chinese philosophy and spirituality. Its principles of yin and yang, the five elements, and the concept of change as a constant have permeated Chinese thought for centuries, influencing everything from art and literature to medicine and martial arts.
Wow, it's mind-boggling to think about the impact this one text has had on an entire civilization.
It really is, and the book also highlights how the Yi Jing's principles resonate with ideas from other cultures and traditions. For instance, Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, was deeply influenced by the Yi Jing and saw its concept of synchronicity as a key to understanding the workings of the unconscious mind.
Well, even though the Yi Jing originated in ancient China, its wisdom transcends cultural boundaries and has relevance for people all over the world.
Absolutely. It speaks to these universal truths about human nature, the nature of reality, and the forces that govern our lives. And the book argues that by studying the Yi Jing, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves, our place in the universe, and the interconnectedness of all things.
This has been an incredible journey of discovery, but as much as I'd love to keep exploring the depths of the Yi Jing, we're running out of time. What's the key takeaway for our listener today?
I think the key takeaway is that the Yi Jing is more than just an ancient text. It's a living, breathing system of wisdom that offers profound insights into the nature of change, decision-making, and the human experience. By exploring its principles, symbolism, and practical applications, we can unlock our inner genius, navigate the complexities of life with greater clarity and purpose, and ultimately create a more fulfilling and meaningful existence.
It sounds like a journey worth embarking on. For those who are ready to dive deeper, the book we've been discussing, Unlock Your Inner Genius, the surefire guide to supercharging your decision-making skills and dominating life with the Book of Changes, is available on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books.
It's a fascinating read and a great starting point for anyone who wants to explore the wisdom of the Yi Jing.
This has been a truly mind-expanding deep dive. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the Yi Jing. We hope you found it as enlightening and inspiring as we have.
It's been my pleasure.